I don't wanna make friends, I don't wanna break the ice. I think about my life and I analyze. The gunman was aiming at me, but he weren't precise. I looked down the barrel of the gun and saw paradise.
Welcome to Deeper Thoughts, a home where we take a deeper dive into the topics explored in art. The foundation of today's discussion are the lyrics you just heard, which come from J Hus's second studio album. Taking the focus off of J Hus as an individual, when we listen to those lines, the visual imagery that I get is one of a gang-locked guy who is so depressed from the harsh realities of gang life, he feels as if his only escape is death. But firstly, we need to ask ourselves, why do people join gangs? How does an individual find themselves in a situation whereby the only conceivable way out is death? Gang literature points to a multitude of psychological and social motivations for gang membership. Now, the answer is infinite, but I think the interactional theory provides an encompassing foundation on how to look at the social motivations behind why one is drawn to a gang. The theory goes as this: gang membership results from a reciprocal relationship between the individual and their peer groups, social structures, weaken social bonds, coupled with an environment that fosters and reinforces delinquency. To break it down, it's the classic birds of a feather flock together. You have an individual who feels no love from their environments and resultantly harms their society. They also gravitate towards other individuals who feel and act the same way. And in this collective, aka gang, antisocial behavior is enhanced through social processes. Now, if we delve deeper into the social structures that interactional theory encompasses, strain theory sticks out. Strain theory is a sociological theory that explains the relationship between social structures and deviance. Now, according to the theory, individuals in a society have certain goals that they want to achieve. Examples include financial success and personal fulfillment. These goals are typically obtained through legitimate means. However, not everyone has the same opportunities to achieve these goals, and some people may face barriers or lack the necessary resources to do so. This may lead to strain, which may motivate individuals to turn to deviant behaviors as a way to cope with the sense of failure or inadequacy. And this can be seen in the stark relationship between income inequality and crime, where both the theory and the data suggests that if you've got it, don't flaunt it. We touched on the social drivers, but on the psychological side, there are a host of psychological effects linked with gang membership. Research shows youths with lower levels of confidence and weak bonds with their society are more likely to look towards a gang than youths who are more confident and have a positive relationship with their society. J Hus flirted with the idea of dying as a means to end the suffering. But the question is, why did he see paradise on the other side of the gun? The life of a gang member can often be glamorized, and this can take many forms, including the portrayal of gang members as cool or as powerful. But this glamorization can be harmful, because it can create a distorted and romanticized view of gang life.
A life that can often have you feeling on edge.
The feeling of being constantly on edge is reflected in Central C's line.
You ain't never sat in a trap with a pack, hear the doorbell ring and your heartbeat lag. Can't keep track, been in the trap, it's hard, I can't keep up.
Now imagine being a lost teen in a trap house, completely oblivious to the violence which may lay ahead. What's clear is that the constant trauma can take a toll on the body and most notably the mind. Gang members' involvement in violence as victims or as perpetrators has a negative impact on their social and psychological functioning, which is normally overlooked by society. And I think this disregard is summed up well by Dr. Alcock, CEO of Mac UK Charity, who said, "If someone is wielding a knife, it's highly unlikely that anyone will ask if they are depressed but this could be exactly what they're feeling. However, it's presenting in an atypical way. It's becoming clear that the main reason as to why gang members find themselves in a situation whereby their only escape or their only conceivable way out is death are the mental challenges they face in their precarious environments. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, is an anxiety disorder caused by very distressing events. When people think of PTSD, it's easy to solely think of ex-military personnel who have served in the likes of Iraq or Afghanistan. But what effect does the war on the streets have on people's mental health?
In an interview, you said something like by age 17, you had lost 10 to 15 of your close friends.
Yeah.
That is years ago now.
That alone, you should have post-traumatic stress, whether these are people who you just know from the neighborhood, but these people who are really connected with, share stories with, share meals with, slept on the floor, slept on air mattresses with. And a lot of times, like, we get so immune, we're used to it. Like when I was 17, I didn't really know that I was suffering from a mental illness because I was paranoid and I thought I had to carry a gun on me everywhere I go because
I don't even have 15 close friends, so to lose that amount as an adolescent by virtue of being in a gang-affiliated group can only be traumatic. What is interesting here is that with the bravado that many gangsters seem to possess, it would be easy to characterize them as anything but anxious. That is clearly not the case. The same way in which confidence is silent and insecurity is allowed, the bravado and high levels of aggression can be the smokescreen that guards the anxious minds of these gang members. When looking at the studies on gang membership and mental disorders, rates of psychosis, anxiety, drug dependence, and a history of attempted suicide have all been found to be significantly higher in gang members than in non-gang members. Looking at the chart, the only exemption here is depression, which is shown to be lower/less likely in gang members than in non-gang members. The reason for this might be explained by violence. Violent acts can be seen as a displacement activity, aka an activity that releases the tensions that come hand in hand with being a gang member. But taking a look at the other tendencies, most notably suicide, those in gangs were more likely to have attempted suicide than non-violent individuals who were not in gangs. Having suicidal tendencies is not a mental health condition per se, but is the precipitant of underlying psychiatric conditions such as anxiety, psychosis, which are prevalent in gang members. Until our community continues to be tough on crime but not the sources of a crime, gangsters will continue to cry.